You're very welcome back. It's the final leg of today's Daily Rundown. It's time for the slightly more unusual stories that have been making the news today. So watch out, Oprah, the host of HBO's Last Week Tonight, has given the former biggest gift giver in TV a run for her money when he forgave nearly $15 million worth of medical debt on his show. Wow. Last Week Tonight spent about $50 to create a debt acquisition company in Mississippi, and soon after its creation it was offered a portfolio of medical debt. I hate when they do this. I always tell them to write it in words. Of, Stephen, what's that number?
That's $14,922,261.76 of your American cents.
Thank you. That was for less than $60,000. It's John Oliver, isn't it? He partnered with RIP Medical Debt Charity and decided to forgive the debt of nearly 9,000 people. Now, as we are in the UK, we have the NHS and are not used to paying out for treatment. So, I don't know, what do you think the effects of that will be down the line? That's brilliant, isn't it?
I think it's fantastic. I read it the other day, last night, I think it was. You look at it and you just kind of go, how scary it is, and John Oliver made the point that how scary it is to actually set up a company who then buy these debts and then aggressively chase people for debts. And then actually that wonderful thing of kind of it's £60,000 or $40,000, $60,000, £40,000, and he's just gone, what a difference that makes them 9,000 people's lives.
Massive difference, isn't it?
You know, in terms of having to pay for healthcare. I mean, people whinge about waiting times at hospitals, and you know the NHS is massively underfunded. But I mean, what the alternative that you've got in America, where up until Obamacare you had huge swathes of the country who had no health insurance whatsoever, no access to healthcare.
It's a funny one, isn't it? Do you think would you say you take the NHS for granted? Because you know, I've been living here quite a while now, I'm well used to it. But when I came here first, you know, every time I went to the doctor, I'd find myself up at the reception. My husband rang me one time and he was like, "What are you doing? Have you seen the doctor?" And I was like, "Yeah, I'm just, you know, I'm at reception." And he's like, "Why? What? Have you to make another appointment?" And I'm like, "No, I'm just waiting to pay." And he's going, "There's not even anywhere to pay. There's no. They'll just like, even if you insisted, for example." But you know, we really do take it for granted here. I think it's a fantastic service, but like we have people like that in America living under immense debt just because they weren't well. Shocking.
It is shocking. I saw something that made me cry on the inside. Myself and my partner went on. We were fortunate enough to go on holiday to the Maldives, and on the way back we stopped in Sri Lanka, and we were in a taxi, and a man was walking down the street, and he had a sign that said, "Please give me money. I'm saving up for major heart surgery," and I'm so thankful that I live in a country where I wouldn't have to have an elderly relative who would have to go out begging to get medical bills. And I think that before this, not gonna lie, had a little bit of a man crush on John Oliver. After this, this has gone beyond my Jack. This has gone beyond Jack Bauer. It is, but it is scary. It is scary that, as you say, Andrew, that you can set up this company, and thankfully, this was a company set up with $50, bought with $60,000, and in the hands of nothing more dangerous than a British comedian.
Brilliant.
If that landed in the hands of any number of unscrupulous people, what they could have done to these 9,000 people's lives, as opposed to what John Oliver's done, is amazing. And I think that if this starts a race between American TV and chat show hosts over who can forgive the most debts, please, let's start it.
What an idea, actually. Maybe I never even imagined that it could go that way.
I think that's the thing, isn't it? I mean, like I say, if you put it in the hand of a hedge fund manager, you look at the whole furore over the kind of HIV drugs. I think there were certainly some drugs in America where a hedge fund manager bought the license to the drugs, and suddenly went, that drug that costs you $6 a month is now going to cost you, you know, $4,000 a month because I want to make my money on it, and then he had to kind of backtrack. They're the kind of money these debts fall into, because you are picking up $40 million worth of debts for $60,000. That's a big investment. That's a good return. If you can get all that money back in, that is a good return. And that's what people do, you know. And I think, like you say, if it starts a race between some of the
there's
some
enough
of the chat
I mean,
show
like
hosts,
the chat show, they're big players, aren't they?
Yeah,
they're always looking for a gimmick.
£120,000
very, very
show,
competitive. And huge budgets.
Personally speaking, I don't think Donald Trump would be able to do this, and I would personally say that Donald Trump would not be the best at doing this. And if you're listening, Donald, I personally don't think you would be the best, and you have to prove that you would be the best. And I know you like to be the best, Donald. So prove that you're the best, Donald. I don't think you're the best.
He'll be watching as well.
He does watch. He watches
every time I'm on. Oh yes.
Noel Edmonds has launched himself into the centre of a Twitter controversy. Aurora, we've got sighs and laughs there already. After he suggested a cancer patient's ill health was caused by his negative energy. The whole kerfuffle began when the Deal or No Deal presenter tweeted a picture of an electromagnetic pulse machine saying it tackles cancer. The EMP pad, the company who make it actually, have since dismissed these claims, so he doesn't even have their support. A member of the public responded saying, I think Noel Edmonds should stick to presenting quiz shows rather than curing cancer, to which Edmonds responded, linking the Twitter's ill health to his negative attitude. 100,000 people, I don't know what that is, but Noel Edmonds seems to be getting himself into a bit of Twitter hot and bothered now.
He's going full on David Icke.
What was the most recent? Oh no, it was that's the most recent. What was the one previous? There's been a few. There's been a few now.
He did that weird video, didn't he? Dressed up as an old woman with the BBC as the background. I cannot bring myself to watch it. But he's going full on meltdown, and I don't know what prompted it.
No, I don't know. I think.
Would you have been fans of him? Did you kind of feel like, the Saturday Night thing is that he's a bit of a
I loved
institution?
It when I was growing up. I loved Crinkly Bottom and
Mr. Blobby.
And
what was it called? House Party and all that.
Getting your parents into trouble and getting guns. I loved all that. I thought
Telly Addict.
Yeah, I quite like him on Deal or No Deal. But I'm just reading these tweets. I don't follow him on Twitter, but I do read these tweets and I just think to myself, good God, what's happening?
Going on?
What's happening?
Yeah, I think this. I mean, I know he's into a lot of the PMA, positive mental attitude, and he draws pictures on his hands.
Of course, it's cosmic ordering.
Cosmos, yeah. And I just think that, I mean, if he. My mum always told me that if you've got nothing nice to say, don't say anything at all. And I think that if Noel Edmonds wants to take that, then fine. I think that linking this, I'm a supporter of a football club who previously has had a chief executive who has got into problems about quoting linking people's ill health. If people are ill, we should be helping them and supporting them. Whether you believe this or not, whether you have this choose your attitude approach, that's fine, Noel, but it's not working for this lady. And whatever works for this lady, or this person, lady or gentleman, whoever it is, Noel Edmonds should just keep his opinions to himself.
I feel like bottom lining on that, but we still got time, unfortunately. But I think. I always wonder when someone says something outlandish like this, someone who's a celebrity or in the public eye, where is their assistant, where's their PR person? So even if they do think stupid or mean things, that they just say, listen, just don't put it on Twitter, yeah? Just think it there, say it to me, no problems. Yeah, why is he going to put it on Twitter?
I think it's that desire to still be talked about, I think, isn't it? And I think you get that from perhaps that era of British entertainers. They're either being picked up by a yew tree or they are in this vacuum, this void, and they're trying to still stay relevant. And I don't not believe that he genuinely thinks that what he's saying is helping somebody. I'm quite a positive person. I don't think attitude's linked to illness. So
do you think?
I a lot of baloney.
Is Deal or No Deal still even?
Yeah.
It's still on, is it?
It is. Yeah.
Which is a ridiculous concept for a game show anyway. It's just guesswork.
Popular though.
No. Guesswork for an hour, isn't it?
It's been massive though, hasn't it, over the years? So I mean, what I'm saying is he's had this big show. It's been very high profile. He doesn't really need to do all this other mess, and doesn't he? Really making it.
It's that ego. I think it's ego. I mean, there was a show on. I can't remember who did the show, but it was him basically going around as a trading standards officer. Like kind of a Roger Cook type.
Oh, Lord.
And he'd go around and say, "This woman bought this vacuum off you, and the plug doesn't work."
Really?
And it was just a really cringy kind of show, that kind of thing Jeremy Kyle does nowadays. But it was like Noel's great.
But the other person's probably going, "But you're Noel Edmonds. You just wouldn't be able to go away."
He turned it. He just going to himself.
Oh dear.
It doesn't work.
Let's go back. Let's go back to that bottom line. What do you think, Steve?
Noel Edmonds should just keep his opinions to himself.
Well, on that note, it's been a great show. Thank you very much to my fabulous guests, Stephen Armstrong and Andrew Greaves. We're back tomorrow night with another daily rundown. You have the pleasure of Dan Morfitt's company. I'll be back next week. Until then, have a very good night.